to Ole Walls house. It's me. It's your man. It's your main man. It's Ole Walls. And I'm sick. Coming off something pretty nasty here. But, like Jordan had his flu game, Ole Walls has his flu pod. And it is the pod after the Super Bowl. Ole Walls house number 110 coming your way. Just want to start by saying thank you to everybody. I appreciate all your support. Your support and your fandom and your watches and your listens is why I tough it out, and I take my heart and soul and I pour it all over this computer screen or iPhone screen, or if you're some weird Android user screen, through my sickness to give this to you. Well, Walls is here for you. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate your support as always. Big appreciation to producer Kevy. So thank you very much to all you guys. You know the deal. If you could, please rate, review, comment, subscribe, share the pod. Let everybody know Ole Walls house. It's the place to be. A couple big topics today. Super Bowl 58. That's going to be the big one. And the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Of course, I'm going to talk about my Flyers, my Tar Heels, and give you guys some passing thoughts. Before we get to that, though, I want to talk about Liquid IV. If you guys are looking for 20% off Liquid IV, the promo code you want to use is OWH. That's O for Ole, W for Walls, H for House. You can do that by going to liquidiv.com and just placing that in the promo code at the end of your order, or you can go to the link in the show notes below. I like Liquid IV. I've been using it a lot over this weekend. Getting it in me. Those convenient little packs, 16 ounces of water, bing, bang, boom, bada-dee. And you're looking at 3 times better hydration than water alone, twice the amount of electrolyte, or wait, is it 2 times better? Yeah, whatever. Better hydration than water alone, more electrolytes than the leading sports drink. They're donating water, over 39 million servings. It's non-GMO, it's non-dairy, it's vegan, it's all that good stuff. If you're looking for better hydration, Liquid IV is the place to be. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Super Bowl time. I didn't drink a single beer watching the Super Bowl. Not a single drink of any sort of alcoholic beverage. As you can hear and I mentioned, I was under the weather, and this is the first time I can remember in a long, long time not having anything to drink during the Super Bowl. So, yeah, not a thing, not a drop. And I witnessed the Chiefs. How about them Chiefs? Go back-to-back in an overtime thriller. The first team since the Patriots to do it in the 03-04 seasons. Those were the 04 and 05 Super Bowls. A lot of people conveniently be like, oh, it's been 20 years. Not really. It's been 19. It's been 20 years if you take the year. This Super Bowl was played, and 20 years ago was the 04 season. But yeah, 19 years still. Long time since there had been a repeat. The repeat before that had been the Broncos, I believe. Repeats had been a little more common, but yeah. Second overtime game in the Super Bowl ever. Kyle Shanahan has been involved in both and has been on the wrong side of both. This one, I don't think you can light him up for like we probably all lit him up on that Falcons-Patriots one. Sloppy game to start. Sloppy game. We had some fumbles. We had the 49ers driving right down the field, looking like they're going to come out and just give it to them. Just give it to them. Christian McCaffrey coughs one up. First drive, just pounding the rock. A couple drives later, Isaiah Pacheco, he's fumbling inside the 10. We're having a tough time. We can't find our way into the end zone. It just doesn't look great. A lot of this game sucks. The golf is better, floating around in group chats I'm in. But alas, it takes us a trick play, but we got it. Juwan Jennings, who was on track to be the MVP if the 49ers had won this game. We go trick pass. He throws a ball that felt like it was in the air forever. I apologize. That's going to happen today, people. I'm going to cough. Finds Christian McCaffrey, who, of course, then finds the end zone. Because when doesn't Christian McCaffrey find the end zone? And it was coming up all Niners. The Niners were looking good. The problem was they weren't getting a lot out of looking good. They come out of the half. It's 10-3. And again, a kind of boring game, not going to lie. Wasn't the most exciting. Yeah, it's 10-3 coming out of the half. And Mahomes either airmails Travis Kelce or completely underthrows someone with two guys on him. Whatever it was a horrendous pass. His first interception in 7 playoff games, so that's pretty crazy. And it looks like it's happening. I mean, meanwhile, at the end of the first half, when Pacheco fumbled, Travis Kelce about damn near took out Andy Reid. He came down there and scared the poor old man. It was up in his face, like, what the fuck did you take me out for? It was interesting. It was interesting. So, I mean, between that, Mahomes comes out, he's either trying to force it to Kelce or not throw it to Kelce, whatever it may be. And all of a sudden, the 49ers have the ball again. And it looks like this shit could get ugly for the Chiefs. But the 49ers can't do anything with it. And they can't do anything with it. And then all of a sudden, a game breaks out because the 49ers muff a punt. Actually bounces off someone, one of the blockers, and the punt returner, Ray. I think it was Ray. I could be wrong there. Turns out my memory of what actually, like, some very specific things in the game that happened doesn't get better when I don't drink and watch them. Tries to pick it up, and it just whoopsies, little oofta. The ball was slippery. And then the very next play, I believe, Valdez-Scantling found in the end zone by Patrick Mahomes, and we got a ball game, and the Chiefs were leading. Juwan Jennings caught the next touchdown pass for the 49ers. So Juwan Jennings becomes the second man. We might need to extend this podcast by like an extra 20 minutes just to hear me cough. Juwan Jennings becomes the second man to ever throw and catch a pass in the Super Bowl. Big Dick Nick Foles was the other man. What a wild little run Big Dick Nick had. Where did he go to the Jags after that? Nick Foles is an incredible story. Just like how it all statistics. So he starts off in Philly, has a great year in Philly. Goes 8-2 the one year. What is that? Was that the Chip Kelly year? I think that was the Chip Kelly. Did I really just sidetrack us to a Nick Foles breakdown? He went to the Jags next. That's where he went. My God, holy sidetrack. Where? All right. Juwan Jennings catches a touchdown. The 49ers are back in front. I was off. I was off and running. We could circle back to Nick Foles. We'll do that. I owe him that now. Man. Then we were trading field goals. They were the 2 longest field goals in Super Bowl history made. Jake Modi, we got to give this man some praise. He makes a 55-yarder to start of the second quarter to become that was the longest field goal ever made. Harrison Butker then made a 57-yarder to immediately snatch that record. Then Jake Moody made a 53-yarder in the fourth quarter. That was with 1:57 before the Chiefs came back down and got a field goal of their own. Patrick Mahomes not able to win it in regulation, but does in overtime. New overtime rules that this was the both teams would have had the ball regardless if the first team scored a touchdown. The only thing that was stopped it was a defensive touchdown on the first drive that would have ended it, and then thereafter same rules, sudden death as always. So field goal from the Niners, who were kind of tripped up early in that drive, but got a defensive holding call from the Chiefs that allowed them to extend it, and they end up getting the field goal, and then the Chiefs end up coming down, and a nifty little play that I believe they used last year in the Super Bowl, where the guy who Holy hell. I told you I'm sick, guys. Where the guy who caught the touchdown, I'm blanking. They interviewed him for 3 seconds in the postgame. How did it feel to score the game-winning touchdown? All right, that's great. Go have fun. He comes in, a little motion in, and then as soon as he comes to a stop, it messes with the defenders in the back. It transfers. They think they're passing him off. He just runs a little quick out, wide open, and he was wide open when they ran it against the Eagles last year. So it was a different guy. It was the other guy that got benched, Kadarius Toney, last year. See, I can remember who did it last year because he got benched. But yeah, a nifty little play, and the Chiefs are the Super Bowl champs back-to-back years, 3 in 5 years. Patrick Mahomes now has 3 Super Bowls. 3 Super Bowls. This is a dynasty. It's impressive. Are we at the start of it? Or are we at the end of it? Or are we at the middle? Got to imagine we're at least in the middle. It would be wild if we're at the start and they do like a Patriots thing. The Patriots thing was like a little mini dynasty early and then like a longer dynasty late. I don't know if we see the Chiefs go 7 years without. The Patriots just kept going to the Super Bowl too. Let's look this up. I just want years. They won the Super Bowl in 01, 03, 04, then again in 14, 16, 18. But then they also went to the Super Bowl in 7 and 11 and 17. Just impressive as all hell. Yes, 7, 11, and 17. Goodness gracious. So the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs list of seasons. That's what we're looking for. That gets it done for us. Oh. All right, so they won the Super Bowl these last 2 years. Lost in the AFC Championship in 21. Lost in the Super Bowl in 20. Won the Super Bowl in 2019. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in 5 years, they've been to 4 and won 3. It's pretty impressive. That's pretty much like the end of the Patriots run, the second Patriots run. Super impressive, man. I don't know. This is like kind of a younger team. They lost their Tyreek Hill. They've got Chris Jones signed up. I know Kelsey's a little older. The receiver core is kind of young and unknown, so it's hard to believe that this will be the last one. And Patrick Mahomes is so good, man. And they unleashed him a little bit last night. They let him run a little bit. They were running some RPOs late in the game where they were giving him kind of like a little out route on the passing. RPO, run pass option. That's from a big football brain right here. I know a lot about it. But yeah, man, it was impressive. Patrick Mahomes is impressive. I know he rubs a lot of people the wrong way, and the Chiefs rub a lot of people the wrong way. But I don't think they're going anywhere. Patrick Mahomes sure as hell ain't. Andy Reid, 3 Super Bowl championships now himself. One of the best coaches ever has kind of solidified himself that way. There was an extra point that was missed in this game that loomed really large. Allowed the Chiefs to kick the field goal at the end of the game, allowed them to kick the field goal before in the fourth quarter to tie it instead of having maybe thinking about going for a touchdown. It was impressive, man. It was a good game. It turned into a good game. It wasn't the greatest Super Bowl I ever watched. It was far, 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 far from the worst. I wondered at the start through the first quarter what kind of game we were watching. I believe Jim Nantz was joking with Romo that he's like, hey, the last time there was a scoreless first quarter, it was Rams, Patriots, and that Super Bowl sucked ass. But and they did that one as well. So either way, it was fun. It was a fun Super Bowl. The Chiefs are a dynasty. Patrick Mahomes is unreal. And, it was a fun NFL season. We're done for 147 more days, 174 days maybe. I retweeted this last night. Got to get to it. 173 days until the next NFL game. It's 172 now, 171 when this pod comes out. So it's going to be a bit. It's going to be a bit. Elsewhere in the Super Bowl, in all the festivities, commercials. There are two commercials I really liked. I really liked the Christopher Walken one, where everyone's doing impressions of Christopher Walken. I thought that one was great. And I love the Arnold State Farm commercial, where he can't say neighbor, he keeps saying neighbor. I really liked that both of those just kind of leaned into the jokes about those guys, and they went along with it. So I liked it. T Swift was there. Guys, it's really not that big a deal that they show T Swift like 4 times over the 77 hours that the fucking Super Bowl takes. Literally, like, if you watch any pregame, you turn the game on at 6 o'clock Eastern. So I'm just going to do Central. So 5 o'clock Central. I think that I had that on to like 10 or 10-ish, 10:30 maybe. I don't know. I had a text from my dad. That's probably about 10:15 at least the game was over. So 5 hours and 50 minutes. You saw Taylor Swift like what, 10 times? So twice an hour, like, okay. It's all right, people. Like, she's not fucking ruining football. She did get shown chugging a beer, though, so hell yeah, good for her. She went up a few notches in my book. She brought someone by the name of Ice Spice with her. When I first heard that, I was like, a Spice Girl. How about it? No, not a Spice Girl. Ice Spice is just somebody totally different. Nope, not a Spice Girl. Spice Girls are like sporty. My wife and I went through this. The roommate. Sporty, posh, baby, scary. Sporty, posh, baby, scary. Shit, I forgot one. Sporty, posh, baby, scary. Oh, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that I can't remember this. Ginger Spice. I think that was the one we couldn't get either last night. Also with T Swift, Blake Lively. Oh my God. Blake Lively was bringing it last night. Just bringing the heat. God damn, she looks amazing. Amazing. Wow. Pre-game, we got, we'll get more to this in just a second. We got Reba on the anthem, did a nice job. Added a little extra there at the end. Post Malone sang America the Beautiful and was fantastic. I think Post Malone's another one of these guys who is so talented that like what he does for like the kind of music he makes, it's almost like he's wasted his talent. I like some Post Malone songs, don't get me wrong, and maybe a lot of people are like, oh, that's the greatest shit ever, but I think he could do different songs and like showcase how talented he is way more. But I thought he was very good with America the Beautiful. Halftime show, solid. Impressive that Usher was dancing and singing the whole time. He seemed to not be lip syncing a ton, like there was a background track, but for the most part was singing a lot of his own. It turns out I don't really know a lot of Usher songs. My wife's like being like, oh yeah, you know this one. I'm like, kind of. Like if I hear it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm familiar with it. But I think probably the best part was all the people he brought with him. Alicia Keys was fantastic. Whoever she's married to better look out because her and Usher were grinding it up out there. But she was great. Little John showed up for Yeah. I mean, that's where everyone came is for Yeah. Little John was there doing pretty much what he always does, which is just being a Chappelle Show skit. Just, yeah, okay, what? Just doing that the whole time, which is awesome. Ludacris came out in full football pads, which was awesome. And I didn't know who Jermaine Dupri was. I just thought he was just some random little fat bald guy running around. Jermaine Dupri was on did Welcome to Atlanta, which is a badass song, which Luda is also on. I also saw a funny thing. Luda should just do the halftime show one year where he just does like all his parts from all the different songs he's in. So that was good. All right, for the main event for the Super Bowl, let's do the review of Daddy's bets. Some of these I went along with him. Others I did not. Others I did not. We turned out, I believe Daddy told everyone this was a guaranteed 3 out of 10 winners. Ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly what he provided for us. Daddy came out with 3 winners for us. He picked a winner in the Christian McCaffrey under 89.5 rushing yards. I liked that. He liked Travis Kelce over the 70 receiving yards, which I think all came in the second half. He finished with 93. And he liked more than 2.5 players to throw a pass. He really convinced me on that one. I love that. So he got those 3 right. Losses. National anthem. He thought Reba was going to go the under. I bucked with him and said, I'll take the over. I think she's due. I got lucky. Coin toss, he went tails. I went heads. I'm a big heads guy. I always take heads. I never take tails. 40. He liked the 49ers. I liked the Chiefs. I don't know that. I think I was going with him. I don't know what the 47.5 means. I just wrote 47.5. I don't know if that was an under or an over. I think he said over. I think I said under. I think 24-20. But I wrote it down for a loss for myself as well. Daddy told me 3 and 10, so I already found the 3 winners, so I just assumed that had to be, he meant over. I wrote it down for a loss because I didn't put anything next to it. He had Christian Ayuk over 61.5 yards, over 4.5 catches. Sorry, not Christian Ayuk, Brandon Ayuk. He had 3 receptions for 49 yards, so both losses. And then he went with orange Gatorade. I went with purple. For the win. I said, just give me the same as last year. So he went 3 and 7. I had myself as going 7 and 3. I said I was going with him on Ayuk because I believe that's why I said it. It's pretty much their number 1 receiving option receiver that they kind of use Debo in a lot of different ways. So 3 and 7, not quite as bad as 2 and 14, Daddy, but still be room to improve next year. I was told by some people out in the world that they were kind of confused about Daddy because they didn't know if they should fade him because he said he was fading himself. So the confusion hurt some people on what to bet out in the Ole Walls listener universe. So, all right. I think that's what I have for the Super Bowl. Looking forward to another year of NFL. It'll be here before we know it. We'll be kissing summer goodbye, unfortunately. So I try not to wish for the NFL to come back that much because that means the summer's gone. So, goodbye, NFL. It's been wonderful. Let's move on. Okay, Phoenix Open. Waste Management, or the WM Phoenix Open. WM. Not Waste Management anymore. Nick Taylor. Big Dick Nick Taylor. We got too many Big Dick Nicks out there now. But Nick Taylor with a hell of a win. I hope I'm not starting a trend here where I pick the person in my fantasy golf league and then the next week they decide they need to win the golf tournament, because as of right now, that's what's happened. Nick Taylor was, I picked him last week and then he decided to go out and win, which is not what I'm looking for my fantasy golf. So I would just like that to not happen, but it could be happening. So I want to be the first one to say I wrote Nick Taylor off. I was texting with a buddy of mine about the golf, and I gotta find it here. I had it, and then I changed it and looked for something else. Sahith is falling apart was also something I said at 2:30, which was about 2 hours into the round. I think I was already at it, and I started scrolling the wrong way. No. Where is it? Another text. Fucking Charlie Hoffman from the Great Unknowns. Where did this go? Oh, there. I didn't say his name. My buddy said Nick looks so nervous driving it like shit. And I said, yeah, he's going to crumble. I said that at 4:13. 4:13. So that's probably, gosh, must have been before he started his birdie barrage on the front nine, birdieing 6, 7, and 9. So maybe that was right at the start of the back nine. And he never crumbled. My man never crumbled. He shoots a final round 65, 6 birdies, no bogeys. No bogeys. But Charlie Hoffman was out there just doing things. He makes 3 birdies on the front 9. He makes a 4th on 10, gives one back on 12, and then goes eagle, birdie, birdie. Eagle, birdie, birdie on 13, 14, and 15. He's makes a par on 16, and he's standing on the 17 tee box, 3 clear of everybody else. Now, friend of the pod, Mr. Appley, would like to say, well, Nick Taylor had more holes to play. Oh, yes, well aware. But at the time he's on the 17th tee, he's 3 clear. And he goes par. You got to think you want to make some birdies on those holes, but par. But there was Nick Taylor just floating around out there, just being a man. Lays up on 15, which he kind of got ridiculed for, but then stones it, makes birdie on 16. How close did he hit that first shot? 5.8 after he had just hit it to 3'3" on the previous hole. Makes par on 17, kind of was pushed out right with that pin. That was kind of a tough spot. And then on 18, hits one through the bunker on the right. That happened to him twice. Probably the bunkers being so firm, maybe from all the rain, was helpful. Hit it to 10 feet, lipped it in. A little lippy in. But that led us to a playoff. And then in the playoff, Nick Taylor hits an absolute dart in there, as does Charlie Hoffman. Nick Taylor with the early walk. I mean, that thing was a good foot and a half from the hole, and my man was already heading to the hole. Big props to Charlie Hoffman to then right on top of him make it again. So we go back to 18 for another playoff hole, and Charlie Hoffman hits one on those like left church pew bunkers and is like this far from the lip. And I'm like, there is no way he's getting this over and then getting it close. And he had a pretty good shot. How close does he hit it? Can I find the playoff? Is this the playoff? Here's the playoff. He ended up hitting it on the second hole to 28 feet, which was pretty good. And Nick Taylor, again, just buries the putt to make birdie on the 18th hole 3 straight times on Sunday. Might have made a birdie on the – did he play round 3 on Sunday as well? But round 4, playoff twice, and gives a great old putter slam. My man has figured out how to celebrate making putts that matter. Adam Hadwin in the stands – or not the stands, but right around greenside, dressed the exact same way as he was at the Canadian Open. Same pullover on, just looking to get taken out by a security guard again. That wasn't an original thought. So I saw it posted on Twitter. Someone was like, yeah, he's just looking to get taken out again. So I can't take credit for that one, but I laughed. But yeah, Charlie Hoffman, what a run for the 47-year-old guy. Maybe his last best chance. It's funny, when I think of Charlie Hoffman, I think he's won more. He's only won 4 times on tour. He's never won here. He's lost in a playoff twice. He has always been sponsored by Waste Management or WM, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that was probably his last best chance to win a PGA tournament. Hey, you never know. Old guys can get hot, but you have to imagine there aren't too many options coming up for him now. Nick Taylor now has 4 PGA Tour wins. Excuse me. He's won some big events. He won Pebble Beach in 2020, right before COVID. And then the RBC Canadian Open last year, Phoenix this year. He's won twice in playoffs, and he also won the Sanderson Farms way back in 2014. How old is this guy? 35. So he's not a young goose anymore. But yeah, some nice wins lately. That'll give him some good mojo going into the rest of the PGA Tour year here. Some interesting thoughts here throughout the week. Obviously, this event was crazy because of the rain. I think they were delayed close to 6 hours between Thursday and Friday, or maybe it was mostly on Friday. Saturday, they played a bunch of golf. Finished, I think some people hadn't even played any of round 2 on Saturday by the time they started. And so they played all of round 2. They got about halfway through round 3 for the leaders, then finished round 3 Sunday morning, and then got on to round 4. So, I skipped some things. We're going to get back to that. We're going to get back. Crazy weather, all crazy. Sam Burns made a hell of a Sunday run. Sam Burns ended up finishing T3. And just listen to his scorecard. Birdies 1, birdies 2, birdies 6, bogeys 8. Then he goes birdie on 10, birdie on 11, eagle on 13, cools off through 14, 15, 16, 17, and then makes a birdie on 18 to finish it up. So Sam Burns finished his T3 there. With Scotty Scheffler, who cannot putt at all. My man can't do it. He can't do it. Strokes gained. Approach to green this week. 9.243. Best in the field. Off the tee. 4.6. Second in the field. Putting. 0.4. 44th in the field. 58th around the green. He lost a stroke around the green. He actually gained strokes putting. This is a better event for him. He missed a putt on 13, 14, and 15 to just totally just knock himself out of it. And they were shorties. There you go. And he's 18 under. 21 was the playoff. I mean, Scotty is hitting the ball so good. Unbelievably good. People always say this. Like Tiger good. And it is true. Nobody has hit the ball as good as Scotty Scheffler is hitting it right now since prime Tiger Woods. And he just cannot make putts. It can't do it. He just can't do it. It's incredible. Incredible. Sahith Theegala, I took him in fantasy. He was out to a great start. He was one of the only people with the bad wave to be up at the top of the leaderboard, I believe. He just kind of came. The wheels just started to come a little loose Sunday afternoon, even Sunday morning. While everybody else was going low, he could only manage a couple under each day. What he shoots? Where is my man? Sahith. How far down did he fall? There he is. Oh, he's right in here. 17. So he goes 65, 64, then 69, 69 while everyone else kind of comes apart. What was his driving stats? They couldn't have been good. Off the tee. Wow. So, man, it looked worse. He must have made up for this earlier in the week. 16th strokes gained off the tee. 5th strokes gained. I mean, for someone to finish that high, approach to green, he flushes it too. 5th. But yeah, it felt like on the back nine, maybe he just wasn't hitting drives where he needed to be, and just couldn't quite get over the finish line. But he makes it interesting to watch, that's for sure. Okay, back to where I was going before about the rain delays and all of this. I don't know if I just never got in the weeds on this on Twitter or X. X is gonna give it to you. X is up. Or what, if I've just never gotten into the weeds, but I've never seen so many people on Twitter, and maybe this is a new thing with golf Twitter because Liv, it's oh fucking PGA Tour, fucking Liv. But so many people are what an embarrassment. They're not even gonna finish. They're not even gonna finish on Sunday. How can they do it? Well, here's what you do. You get most of your third round in on Saturday, and then you get out early and you get it. It's gonna bleed into the Super Bowl. But I've never seen people get upset or have these strong opinions about the schedule of a golf tournament due to rain and weather conditions. And I know they just canceled AT&T last week, but I don't. Maybe I've just never dove into it on Twitter. But I was seeing it, and I was why is everyone so angry about a weather situation that has caused a tournament? Just shut the fuck up and enjoy the Saturday and Sunday. Well, I'm in bed all day sick. I'm just watching golf the whole day. Sunday, golf's on the whole day. Like, what's the big deal? Just shut up. Like, at what point are we like, it's fucking an embarrassment? After they had to cancel a tournament on Sunday. By the way, Pebble Beach has been canceled like 5 times. And that event has gone to 54 holes. I just didn't get it. I just didn't get what the big deal was. The other thing that was funny was the Saturday, like people bitching that like they'd lost the plot on Saturday. Like, oh, they're just showing 16. It's like, do you guys ever watch this tournament? Like, that's what they do every Saturday. CBS did it last year. Like, they just sat Colt Knost and Amanda Renner down there and were like interviewing people on 16, which was great. It was awesome. They put Smiley and Kiz down on 16 and just let them loose. It was fantastic. And yes, it was goofy. It was ridiculous. And Sunday's coverage was totally different. Smiley was out on the course. Kiz was back up in the booth. I think Kiz is doing a nice job, by the way. I know even in my group chat some people disagreed, but I think he's doing a nice job. But yeah, I was laughing at like now there are people like, oh, this is bullshit. They're not even they can't get it right. Like, chill. They're always going to do that Saturday of waste management. Like they're going to lean into the party. And yeah, it was a party and it got a little out of hand by all accounts. But fucking man, there's 2 different reactions I saw from golfers about like kind of how out of hand it got. Was Zach Johnson's pussy ass was out there like, oh, don't sir me, like throwing a hissy fit. And Billy Horschel was just like, hey, shut the fuck up while he's trying to hit. And then like kept walking. I'm okay with Billy Horschel's. Zach Johnson's a pussy. Now, hey, maybe I've got a problem with Zach Johnson because he may have been the fucking worst Ryder Cup captain ever. That's saying something. But, like, you know what you're getting when you go there. Like, Zach Johnson doesn't need to play this to grind it out on the PGA Tour. Like, you know you're going to this place. Was it probably a little bit extra because it was wet and the whole place was a disaster and they were stuffing extra golf in? So, like, everyone was there really early and it was really going. Yeah, probably. But, like, I doubt it was that much worse than everybody. They did have to shut off booze sales and shut some people out. And again, I wonder if that's like because they were honoring second round tickets onto Saturday, but like just chill. It's once a year and one day it's crazy and Sunday has a totally different feel to it. Like same thing for the people watching at home. Like Saturday's they're always going to lean into it. And good, try something different. Be different. We have Sundays to be the exact same every time. I like that. What else? Oh, TPC Scottsdale. This tournament is great. Like so many years, this tournament is great. Like let's look at this up. Let's look up how often this tournament turns into a great finish. Wiki. This year, obviously. Scotty Scheffler last year. I don't recall. He beat Nick Taylor by 2 shots, so relatively close. 2022, it was a playoff with Patrick Cantlay. 2021, when Brooks Koepka won over Xander Schauffele and K.H. Lee, that was a good tournament. 2020 was a playoff with Webb Simpson and Finau. That was a good one. 2018, playoff with Gary Woodland and Ches Reavie. 17, Webb Simpson and Hideki Matsuyama playoff. 16, Hideki and Ricky playoff. 15, Brooks wins by 1 stroke over Hideki, Ryan Palmer, and Bubba Watson. 14, Kevin Stadler wins over Graham DeLay and Bubba Watson by 1 stroke. Like, hell yeah. So this event's been in a playoff 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the last 9 years. Like, that's awesome. This tournament is set up great. This golf course sets up great for fun golf down the stretch. Like, when you get to 15, like, you got your birdie hole. You got 16 is the 16 is 16. 17 is a fantastic hole where there's a million different things that can happen. There's a ton of bailout spots where, right, if you try and take it on, you've got all that problem. They stuff the pin way in the back. That's a good hole. And then 18's become like, you just got to put your foot down on the gas, miss the bunkers, knock it tight, and make a birdie coming home. So this is fun. And I'd like to point that out for the people when we get to Valhalla for the PGA Championship this year. They're like, Valhalla sucks, man. Like, Valhalla's a bad course. Like, I'm a golf course architect. I like golf course architecture. Look at the fucking how Valhalla produces golf tournaments. Because it produces good ones. It's Tiger Woods, Bob May. I got to look this up. It's the 2014 PGA with Ricky and Phil and Rory. Like, that's my judge of a good golf tournament is does it produce good winners and good tournaments? 1996 PGA Championship, Mark Brooks in a playoff over Kenny Perry. 2000 PGA Championship, Tiger Woods in a playoff over Bob May. 2004 Senior PGA, Hale Irwin, Jay Haas. 2008 Ryder Cup. 2014 PGA, Rory McIlroy over Phil and Ricky. The 2011 Senior PGA, Tom Watson wins in a playoff. Like, it's produced good stuff. So, like, every time someone, like, rants and raves about how great of a golf course it is, like, oh, the golf course architecture, it's just absolutely wonderful. And then it produces dog shit golf tournaments. Like Pinehurst. If anyone tells me Pinehurst is a great course, fuck off. That place sucks. Does it ever produce a good golf tournament? It probably has. I think the 99 US Open was pretty good. The last couple have been stinkers. That place stinks. I'll stand by it. So, I had some other things. I had a couple picks here that I wanted to look into. Oh, yeah, this was the winners on the PGA Tour thus far. Chris Kirk, 200 to 1. Grayson Murray, 400 to 1. Nick Dunlap, 300 to 1. Matthew Pavon, 130 to 1. Wyndham Clark, 100 to 1. Nick Taylor, 175 to 1. So, yeah. Craziness. We got the Genesis next week. The cat is back. The big cat. Tiger Woods. It's back in action. This is another signature event, designated event, whatever we're calling it. Fun golf tour next week. That's taking center stage. That's center stage. No football, so we're going to have golf and taking the center stage for the pod next week. Probably there'll be some basketball and stuff too. And we got some basketball and hockey to talk about right now. So let's jump right over to it. The Flyers are back, baby. The Philadelphia Flyers are back at it. After a rough end, right before the All-Star break, we come back. We come out of the gate strong. 3 wins. Go to Florida to beat the Panthers, beat the Jets at home, beat the Kraken at home. 3 solid wins to start off the second half of the season. Excuse me. And we're set up. We've got a nice little grip on third place in the Metro Division. Let me just double check. I haven't looked at the standings today, but last night when I looked at them, 6 points clear of the Islanders. We do have played one more game than them. 8 points clear of the Devils. Again, have played 3 more games than them. 8 points clear of the Caps. Have played 2 more games. But still, even if they were to win all the games in between, we're still out ahead of them by a bit here. So it's looking nice. Like, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it's all right. It's all right. It's going to be critical to hold on to that position at in the Metro Division and get in that way, because when you start looking at the wild card, the Maple Leafs and the Red Wings, both less games played, 3 and 2 less games played, only 2 points behind. Now that said, the next best place in the wild card after that is the Islanders, who are 6 points ahead of, but obviously could fall easily behind the Maple Leafs or the Red Wings. So stay in that third place in the division. Find ourselves in some playoff hockey. What about it? Let's do it. This week got the Phoenix Coyotes coming to town on Tuesday. Not very good. Not a great team. Heading to the Maple Leafs on Thursday. They're solid. There's no way around that. The Maple Leafs are a solid club. And then Saturday night, Stadium Series in the Meadowlands at Giant Stadium, or whatever they call it now. What is Giant? What is Giant Stadium called? Why don't I know this? MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Good Lord. Playing the Devils, so division rival. So big week here. Maple Leafs and Devils are beatable. They're tough teams, but they're beatable. Got to win against the Coyotes. Got to pick up those 2 points there. So then after the Saturday game, they're going to actually have some time off for the first time in Ohio, other than the All-Star break and playing every other day games. They will be off again until Wednesday when they head to Chicago, to take on the Blackhawks. So another, they're all big stretches for them right now because they're on the edge. Big stretch. The Heels, the Tar Heels. I mean, they just sandwich a great Duke win with losses. We talked how they lost going into the game against Georgia Tech. Coming out of it, flying high. They have Clemson coming to town, who's only ever won in the Dean Dome once, and that was relatively recently. They hadn't won there, I think, in like 45 or 50 tries at one point. They picked up their second win. A Tar Heels team that just came out flat, weren't ready to go, and it was ugly. It was ugly. It was a bad game. It was poorly played, but what happens is they lost. That's just how it goes. And, they didn't show up. So now they head to Miami and they got to play the Hurricanes. And it's neck and neck in the first half. And they expand the lead up to almost 12 at one point. And then all of a sudden, it just comes crashing down. And they escape with a 3-point win. But hey, a win's a win. The Heels advance. They fall to 7 in the country. They were as high as number 3 at different points, but they're now back to 7 in the country. In the ACC standings, they're a win ahead of a game ahead of Virginia. They're 11-2 in the conference. Virginia is 10-3. Duke is 9-3. A couple games back, and then Wake Forest at 8-4. Everyone else is got 5 losses or more. So the Heels, this week, they head to the Carrier Dome, or whatever it's called. It's called the Carrier Dome, to face Syracuse, who's pretty middling. The Orange, the Syracuse Orangies. What are the Orangies? Where's the Orangies in the standings? They're 6-7 in the ACC, 6-7. And then they host Virginia Tech on Saturday, so they're going Tuesday, Saturday. Virginia Tech, also not great, 5-7, 13-10 overall. So 2 games they should win. Really, all their games they should win. The only real toss-ups left are they have Virginia, who snuck their way into the top 25 in a couple of weeks on Saturday, and then they have Duke to end the season a couple of weeks after that. So everything else should be wins. So we'll I guess we'll see. That's all I got for the Flyers and the Heels. Let's roll on to my passing thoughts. Time for some passing thoughts. I'm going to start this out with a familiar one. I was flying. You guys want to guess what happened next? Some fucking asshole. Yep, some asshole was standing up, getting in the way, thinking they're more important than everybody else, so they can walk off the plane first. Well, to boot, I'm adding a new wrinkle here. To boot, this idiot, stupid lady, was trying to steal my fucking bag. She was grabbing it, and took it out of the overhead. I was like, that's my bag. She's like, it's my bag. I'm like, no, it's really not. That is my fucking bag. She's like, no, I have the same black book bag. I'm like, does yours say fucking Nationwide on it? Stupid bitch. Maybe she should learn to see correctly. God, I fucking hate people who stand on planes. And it proves that, they do shit like that. Nobody else, I've never had someone who sat quietly and patiently in their seat reach up and steal my fucking bag. Just this idiot who is standing the second it goes and just trying to cut people off. Bitch. God. Can't stand them. I cannot stand them. I don't think it's irrational. I don't think my hatred of those people is irrational. You're not going anywhere. If you need to stand up and stretch your legs, I get it. But just take a fucking second so you don't look like you're a freak when you stand up with the rest of them. But and there's a big difference when you're just kind of standing there and trying to inch your way up the plane. Fuck you. Fuck you. I do everything I can if I notice it. Oh, I'll fucking stand then to cut them off and be like, no, you're going to fucking stand right here with the rest of us. You're going to obey the laws. The laws of decency, I tell you. The laws of decency. Don't stand on planes, you fucking losers. A man who was not a loser. Toby Keith. Man who put out hits. Passed away. So rest in peace, Toby Keith. Got some just absolute bangers. Should have been a cowboy. Whiskey for my horses. Whiskey girl. Not as good as I once was. Courtesy of the red, white, and blue. Red Solo Cup. Just the list goes on. The list goes on. So Toby Keith. Hell of a guy. Big Oklahoma fan. Him and Jim Ross. Boomer Sooner. Barstool did a video where they basically did a reenactment from Major League of the American Express commercial, but with DraftKings. And apparently they've done one in the past too, but they're back and now have a deal with DraftKings. So good for them. Good for them. It made me laugh seeing that video. Oh, boys and girls, if there are women out there that watch this show. Texas Roadhouse rolls are one of my favorites. An underrated greatness about them is that if you're staying in a hotel with a fridge and a microwave, keep them in the fridge overnight, throw them in the microwave for like 15 seconds the next morning, you're back, baby. You are back. So I had some Texas Roadhouse rolls for breakfast to go with a little leftover Jersey's Mike sub. Oh my God. May have been the greatest breakfast I've ever had in my life. Texas Roadhouse rolls, Jersey Mike's leftovers. It does not get much better than that. I was traveling this past week, and I was staying in an area where they're kind of right on the time zone line, where that, you know, if you go a few couple miles that way, a few miles that way, you're switching time zones. That is shenanigans. I can't imagine that. I live, you know, close enough that I can drive to a different time zone quite easily, going over to Indiana or Michigan. That's close enough, man. I can't imagine doing it within like an hour. Being like, oh, I'm just going over here. And then whoops, time's changed. Shenanigans. Cody Rhodes is going to be the main event of WrestleMania after what it looks like it was going to be The Rock. We have a little pivot backwards. So Cody is going to main event WrestleMania against Roman Reigns. Are we seeing a little bit of heel Rock coming out for us? That's maybe what it looked like. So I told you I was traveling last week. I was coming home. Could feel myself getting sick, which was cool, and then got pretty fucking sick. I didn't leave my bed. Barely at all on Saturday. Came down to my basement to sit in my chair. Pretty worthless Sunday, too. Just finally here Monday evening starting to kind of come back to life just a smidge. But yeah, so coming home Thursday, feeling sick, and I had forgotten that there was a chance of heavy storms and tornadoes in my area. And I'm about 15 minutes out, and I get there. And, you know, I have two phones, so both phones in the car are fucking losing it. One's playing through the sound system of the car because I'm listening to a podcast. So I'm driving home, and it had been pretty dark when I got back to the airport. But as I'm driving home, I'm probably 5-10 minutes from my house. I look over my right side of my car, and I can just see multiple like tornadoes starting, like multiple funnel clouds like coming down. Don't know if either of them were the ones that touched down in my town, but did touch down in my town. Took out a couple of houses, ripped a roof off a house in town. Knocked out power. We lost power that night at like 5:45. Didn't get it back till like 4 a.m. Didn't have internet until like 8 or 6 or 7 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock the next 6, 7, 8 o'clock the next day. Luckily, nobody was hurt, which was cool. Did some damage to some stuff and took some stuff out. But yeah, that was pretty wild coming home, seeing the funnel clouds come down. I am not a fan of tornadoes, man. I don't like the thought of that. And the thought to be in my basement and some fucking tornado rips my roof off is crazy. Yeah. I mentioned I didn't drink at all for the Super Bowl. Did have some delicious nachos. The roommate made some nachos, put them on a big sheet pan. We got to normalize that. Restaurants, nachos, we go widthwise. We make it bigger, flatter plates. We don't want to stack them. We want to bring them out. This probably could have made last week. I don't know if this might have made last week. It might not have. Tracy Chapman and Luke Combs did a wonderful, wonderful rendition of "Fast Car" at the Grammys? Can't really keep up. So yeah, the just absolutely great. Luke Combs has redone that song. Tracy Chapman's original is classic. Them together was fantastic. It'd be cool if they recorded one together. Probably won't happen, but it was great. So some sports stuff here to wrap up some passing thoughts. Boxing schedule coming up. Boxing schedule. I took a picture of this. Where is it? Must be this way. I always lose where I'm at here. Oh, this isn't sports. There were some Brown students who had started a hunger strike to demand that Brown's governing body divest from companies that sell goods to Israel's security forces or the Israeli settlement industry. Brown had been rejecting those calls, which prompted the students to start a hunger strike before the body's meeting in February. At that meeting last week, the body refused to accept the hungry students' demands. On Friday, complaining of headaches and fatigue, they ended the strike, citing now obsolete demands. 8 days their hunger strike lasted. 8 days. Way to stay tough, people. Way to stay tough. Where is this boxing camp? I took a picture of this, and now I can't find it. I'm such an idiot that I can't. There it is. I finally found it. We do have some good, fun stuff coming up in boxing. There's a nice stretch at the end of May. May 4th, Canelo is going to fight somebody. I guess he's announcing something on Tuesday this week, the day this pod comes out. On May 6th, Inoue will be fighting. He's fighting a guy by the name of Neary. Don't know nothing about Neary, but Inoue's fucking fun to watch. He knocks people out. May 12th, we get Lomachenko and George Kambosos for a vacant belt. That could be decent if it's on TV at a reasonable hour. I'll watch. Probably won't be at a reasonable hour, so I'll watch it the next morning. May 18th, Fury and Usyk, undisputed heavyweight championship. That got rescheduled due to Usyk's cut. And then June 1st, undisputed light heavyweight, Beterbiev and Bivol, Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev are going at it. That's a fun one. So there's two really good fights in there. You get a Canelo fight. So a nice little stretch for boxing fans coming up there at the end through May to June. This was an interesting one that I saw. This was from the 6th, so a little over just about a week ago. Be a week when the pod drops. Fox, ESPN, and Warner Brothers Discovery, are teaming up to create a joint streaming platform for sports in the United States. What the fuck? We're just going to keep making more and more fucking streaming platforms. I would assume that in this case, ESPN Plus would be rolled into that. Fox would have their properties that they have. Warner Brothers, I think, includes TNT and like CBS, maybe. No, I don't know. But just more streaming services. And while we're talking about streaming services, Amazon Prime has arranged to get a NFL playoff game next year. I don't know if Peacock is keeping theirs. I have to imagine. The report is that it's a similar deal to Peacock, where Peacock paid the NFL $110 million for that one single game, which drew 23 million viewers and added 2.8 million new subscribers. I don't know if they'll know how many it capped, but yeah. So Amazon Prime getting a playoff game next year. All right, let's go wrap this thing up. What do you guys say? I think we're all set there. Closing time, everybody. As always, just want to say thank you to everybody who watched, who listened. Thanks for dealing with me and my sickness and my coughing and my snoring and whatever else and my weird voice this week. So thank you guys. Thank you to producer Kevy as always. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Back next week, we got the Genesis. We got more college basketball. We got more hockey. There's going to be more weird stuff for me to talk about. Don't worry. If you guys are looking for Liquid IV at 20% off, promo code is OWH. Link in the show notes below, or go right to liquidiv.com. Till next week, peace.